Welcome back to the table. This episode is supported by MK Army Heal Energy, a founding partner of the Roundtable for Men. Built for long days and real work, fuel the fearless. Last week, we talked about feeling unheard, about the stress and the resentment that comes with it. We talked about how this leads to problems with your family, problems with your significant other, and even problems with friends. This week is going to be a little bit different. We are going to talk about something that is very important to me, something that makes me emotional whenever I talk about it. This week, we're going to talk about fatherhood, not just being a dad, but about all the things that come with it. How time seems to speed up once you become a father. How, when you become a father, everything comes into focus and your priorities change. Watching your children grow up and how it affects you emotionally. Wanting to ensure your children have a better childhood than you did. And the realization that their childhood is temporary. Because one minute they're babbling and learning how to walk, the next they're graduating kindergarten and becoming their own person. That's what we're talking about today, fatherhood and the things we don't always focus on. So come on in, get comfortable, and pull up a chair. Becoming a father is such a blessing, no matter how you become one, biologically, as a stepfather, or even as a foster dad. Whenever you become a father, everything changes for you. Your priorities change from being just focused on you to being focused on your pregnant partner to being focused on your partner and the little bundle of joy that she just gave birth to. As you go through the pregnancy with your partner, your emotions start to fluctuate. I don't mean in the same sense that your partner's does, but in the sense that you begin establishing fears. The fear of screwing up, the fear of doing what your father did with you, the fear of not doing or being enough. You also develop worries, a worry about stability, a worry that you're not good enough to be a dad. You also become excited to be a father, excited to potentially have a mini you, and excited about what your future holds. You become the protector that you were made to be. You begin doing things that will protect your child's emotions, as well as your partner's emotions, and most of all, your new family's peace of mind. Even your identity changes. If you were a party guy, you completely change who you are. You become the man that you need to be. Because at some point, fatherhood forces you to think beyond yourself. You become more aware of your behaviors that you did as a single man, and even as the behaviors that you did with your spouse. They all begin to change. You might not go out as often as you used to. You'll begin creating a new budget that is built around your need to provide. You begin to feel the pressure to provide. And I call it pressure because when it's just you or you and your partner, that pressure isn't necessarily there as heavily because you are responsible for yourself. As a partner, we spend a lot of time looking forward. We are constantly trying to make decisions that will positively affect our futures. We look to the future so often that sometimes we forget to live in the moment. So we miss milestones, we miss activities, we miss out on really watching our kids grow because time flies. Time is the biggest thief in history. One day you'll be changing your kid's diaper, and then you'll blink, and that kid's starting to walk, and you blink again, and you're dropping them off at their first day of school, and you blink again, and that school year is gone, and you're watching your baby graduate kindergarten. And that's when reality really hits you, and you begin to realize they're not going to be little forever. We scroll through the pictures on our phone, looking at the days when our kids are born and how tiny they were. Then you look at your kids now and you see all the progress that they've made. You want life to slow down because you don't realize how fast it's going until suddenly they're growing up right in front of you. As fathers, we try our best to be present, but we mostly just survive daily life while years quietly pass us by. We focus on work and bills and adult life that sometimes we forget about our home lives. We forget about our kids because we lose track of what's important. Something I catch myself doing, especially over the last week or two, is scrolling through my pictures from my Facebook memories and on my phone. Looking at my daughter who was born weighing 2 pounds 14.9 ounces, and now she's thriving and starts the second grade in August. Or my son who was born weighing 3 pounds 13 ounces, and now he's thriving and starts starts first grade in August. Or my last born who was born weighing 4 pounds 14 ounces and will be my last kindergartner in August. And every day I just pray that I'm raising my kids the right way. Every day I wonder if I'm doing the right things with my kids. And time continues to move forward, no matter what we try to do to slow it down. Everything starts to fly by in the blink of an eye. We watch our kids grow up, and we spend a lot of that time working ourselves to the bone, trying to provide, while bragging that we are working 80, 90, 100-hour work weeks for companies that will replace us the minute we drop. All while our families suffer from our absence. Something we all try to do is break cycles. Everything that we do is because we are wanting to become better fathers emotionally for our children, so that they don't repeat the things that we do now, like bottling up our feelings, telling each other to man up, or things that are similar to that. We take our childhoods and even some parts of our adult lives, and we use them as examples of the things that we don't want for our kids. We use our father's mistakes as learning experiences so that we don't make the same mistakes with our children. Something why something we try to do our best at is communicating with our kids differently than what we were. We take the time to get down on our kids' level and actually talk them through what they're feeling. We explain to them that their feelings are valid, but the reaction has to be appropriate as well. We try to be there emotionally, even though as men, a lot of us are emotionally stunted. I catch myself telling my boys often that it's okay to cry, even though they never see it from me. We do our best to understand how our kids remember their emotional experiences. We have to make sure we don't leave our kids, especially our boys, emotionally stunted or unwilling to show emotions. As fathers, we do our best with our kids because we want them to know without a doubt that they are safe, valued, and most of all, loved. And while doing that, you begin to realize that your words and your actions shape them long term. A lot of us fathers are trying to become the parents we wish we had emotionally. And that's hard for us to do because we don't know how to. We don't know how to be soft. We don't know how to be expressive of our emotions, at least not in a healthy way. We're good at expressing our anger, but not in the healthiest types of ways. So with our kids, we have to get on their level and get out of our comfort zones for the sake of them, because they deserve more than a dad that is just physically there. They deserve a present father, a father that can show them love, care, and when necessary, discipline, so that when they grow up and they start a new life cycle with their kids, that cycle is filled with love, care, emotions, and understanding. As fathers, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We carry the weight of our family on our shoulders. We feel the pressure to provide for our families. We feel the fear of failure, failing our wives, failing our kids, and even failing our fathers, even though we don't answer to them. Something that has been a major stressor for me lately is finances. Right now, I'm a stay at home dad while also trying to build something long term for my family through this platform. And even though I'm present with my children every single day, the financial pressure still weighs on me heavily mentally. We do the best that we can when it comes to trying to protect our kids from instability. We want to make sure our kids don't want for anything. We want to make sure they are happy and they're healthy. But we also want to make them be able to participate in sports, go on their school field trips, and have the things that they want without turning them into entitled, spoiled little brats. The thing that I think us men struggle with the most is balancing work life and family life. It's hard for us to find a balance because we lean so heavily on our need to provide that we end up overworking ourselves and we tend to lose focus on our families. We don't do it intentionally, we just lose track of time. And sometimes we lose track of the people that matter the most. During all of this, we begin to become overwhelmed and we begin to feel all kinds of different emotions. And we feel like we can't break down. So we just bottle things up tighter. We carry the stress silently and we do our best to keep it together. But a lot of us carry that pressure quietly because we believe everyone depends on us staying strong. Even when we're at our lowest, we have to stay strong for those around us. Sometimes we have to be even stronger than we normally are. And a majority of the times, we're doing these things to ourselves. And it puts unnecessary stress on our relationships. There are times that we unintentionally lose track of the things that matter most to us. Our kids won't remember the money and the stuff that we get them. What they'll remember is us spending time with them, loving them, caring for them. They remember us getting on their level and playing board games and just spending time together as a family. But something that we need to remember is that they're not just going to remember the good times. They'll also remember the bad times. They'll remember the things you say. They'll remember the fights you have with your significant other. They'll remember the fights that you have with them. They'll remember the way they feel. So we need to break these cycles that we were raised under. We need to be emotionally present for our kids, even if we're unable to show these emotions. A lot of us don't truly understand how we feel, but that's okay as long as we listen to our kids. And that looks like us talking throughout the day, having bedtime conversations. I love making memories with my kids. We go to the beach, we'll go swimming at our apartment pool. We'll do little things as families to ensure that our children feel good and are happy. But being consistent as a father is one of if not the most important thing that we can do. Because whenever you are consistent, your kids remember that. They'll also remember the small moments that matter. They remember who shows up for the school events. And those matter to the kids more than anything. They'll remember the times that you get down on their levels and you show up for the smaller moments. We need to remember that our children won't remember every gift that we buy them, but they will remember whether or not we were there for them. Since time is moving so quickly, we need to start appreciating the time that we have with our kids and with our wives. But for us to do that, we have to put the effort into slowing down mentally. We have to be intentional with the decisions that we make. We have to be there mentally and emotionally instead of just being there physically for our kids' milestones. We need to be present. We need to celebrate our children, celebrate every single milestone, and appreciate all of the ordinary moments. The times like what I was doing while planning this episode, watching my kids play in our living room while my wife is sleeping and I'm watching Grey's Anatomy while working on this episode. Times like these are a blessing, and sometimes I take them for granted. So I'm working hard to look at them through a different lens so that I don't take them for granted anymore. Something that I struggle with is understanding that their childhood is temporary. And I don't take advantage of the short time that I have with them. I don't intentionally go out and create good memories with them. There are some things that I do, And my favorite thing to do is coach my boys in football. As of right now, that's my favorite memory with them. One day, these moments, they'll eventually turn into memories. Because eventually, your children aren't your babies anymore. Time steals them from you. And before you even realize it, they're adults. When they are young, that's the time that matters deeply. Fatherhood is one of the most difficult yet meaningful times in our lives. It's difficult because we don't always make the right decisions. We unintentionally damage our kids. Not because we're trying to, but because we get sidetracked by work, by stress, or by whatever else is going on in our head. So being present is one of the greatest gifts that you can give your children. Be there in the moment when they do something great. We have to make sure that our kids get our love and our attention. And we have to be there physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because kids don't just handle the physical part. Because you can be there physically and be checked out mentally. I know that I've done that a few times. Not intentionally, but it happens. And I know other parents, other fathers that have done the same thing. Because of our lives and the stressors that we have in our lives, we do things that we don't mean to do. And that's something that we have to fix ourselves. And we have to do it intentionally. At the end of the day, we have to remember that fatherhood is an emotional roller coaster. It has its ups, it has its downs, it has its highs and the lows, and time moves faster than we can handle. So we have to be intentional. We have to be present, and not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. We have to appreciate the little moments while they're here so we don't miss out on the memories of our future. When we're old and we're remembering all of the times that we had with our kids and the memories that we'll have with their kids. Every single day, our kids are watching us. They watch every move we make. And while watching us, they're learning from what we do. They're learning from what we say. So anything that we do or say, they'll imitate. So we have to cherish the small moments because they matter more than we realize. At the end of the day, fatherhood isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. While the moments that matter are still here. If this episode resonates with you, take something from it. Take a look at your relationship with your kids. Cherish every moment with them. Make the effort to be present. Be intentional with your words and your actions because your kids are watching you. Thanks for sitting down with me today. I'll see you next time on the Roundtable for Men.